Welcome to Brand You,
the ultimate personal branding podcast.
I'm Caz Grant.
And I'm Toby Lee.
Together, we're here to help demystify personal branding
and to make it accessible and effective for everyone.
Follow along as we guide you through creating your own personal branding journeys.
So, let's get started.
Let's brand you. Welcome back to the Brand You podcast, proudly sponsored by Sparkhouse. In today's episode, we're going to be going through the 1 hour personal branding formula. So how to build your personal brand in under 1 hour. Because I think there's lots of people out there, isn't there, Toby, that probably think of personal branding and building a personal brand and they think, I haven't got time to do that.
Yeah, and I totally get it because I often feel like that. I'm like, where am I going to find time to do content, posts, make sure I'm being seen, but then also the ideation side of thinking about what to come and what to include takes time as well. So I think it is something that people kind of maybe like when they chat to us, say, how do you find the time to do it? It's something that they can't do when they're running their own business. Everyone's in the same position. So hopefully today we can give a few tips that are just going to help people realize, okay, it's not as heavy duty as it may sound like it is. Yeah. We've got these tools in place. We've got a little bit of a structure that can just help do it in bit parts. And it's at the end of the day, we've mentioned before, it's the consistency of doing this, of putting that messaging out there again and again, so that you're building that presence and that brand. It's not a case of I need to sit down block out 2 days to do something for my personal brand. Little bits is more useful.
Yeah. And I think we're pitching this more at those solopreneurs, people that have just started businesses kind of thing, aren't we, as well? So we're pitching this to people that will build relatively small personal brands at the start. If you want to build a massive personal brand, be on all of the channels, do absolutely everything, hone everything to look perfect as well, then that's like why I exist with Quirk, to help people do that. But most people aren't a marketing team and don't have marketing experience and the skills. So we're talking about helping those kind of people, aren't we? Just individuals with something to share with the world, with a goal in mind for it. How can you do that? And I do think that there's an easy way that people can do that in under an hour a day, maybe even half an hour a day. And what I would say to our audience is as well, because I was giving a talk the other day at the uni to a load of physio grads about their personal brands, and they're busy, they've got jobs, they're studying, they're doing their master's degree, that is time consuming. I'm not going in there saying you must create a personal brand and they're like, I've got no time. I got them to all take out their phones and go into their phone settings and see how much screen time they spend on the apps.
Ouch.
Ouch. There was one person in the room, she kind of went, oh, saw how much, put it back in her pocket, and then wouldn't tell the room. But her friend next to her was like 8 hours. She did 8 hours on her phone.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it's like, wow, like when we think about, we've got to be really intentional at the moment of how we spend our time. We're living in this attention economy, aren't we? And we want to put into that attention economy by creating and being a part of it because we want something in return as well. But we can't let the platforms and social media take over our life that much so that we're consuming more than we're creating. Like most of us are taking in other people's personal brands, feeding into their online ecosystem, giving them our attention, our money, our energy. But we can do a little bit of that. But what about we flip it so that we're getting something back from it as well?
It's almost better to be kind of proactive with putting stuff out there than I think the more you consume content, I think sometimes it can be even more confusing as to where you start. You might look at other businesses on LinkedIn or other individuals and go, oh, that video they've done's great. Next person, that photo they've posted or that valuable, written post. I don't know what I'm going to do now. Like, there's all this great stuff out there. I don't know what I can do that's going to contribute and sit in there and work. Whereas actually, if you were just thinking, about yourself and what you want to say, and just in isolation, not clouding it with what's going on already out there, you've got a better chance of dropping something in that is going to be valuable and not necessarily competitive, but we want to stand out, don't we?
Yeah, yeah. The more you spend time consuming other people's content, the harder it's almost going to be for you, because again, you've really got to put the blinkers on and stay in your own lane. Like, don't look left and right and what they're doing, because it doesn't inspire us most of the time. It's great. So sometimes I go online to get inspiration.
Yeah.
And an hour later, I'm like, I've come off with no inspiration.
Yes,
I'm
yeah,
as confused as ever. And I'm actually just wasted an hour of my time. Why
Yeah.
did I? And I know this stuff,
Yeah.
right? It's designed to suck us in. The algorithm is designed to keep us on there, wanting more, getting more. So once you're on, it's like, it's hard
Yeah.
to control yourself and stay in that lane. So we need to think about like our day, and where in that day then, instead of jumping on our social media platforms, can we not go on them, or go on them but do very specific things, and maybe set alarms and timers so that it jolts us out if we do get a bit carried away from it.
Yeah.
And practice some of these things that we're going to share in this episode, because I think once you get intentional, once you switch it from consuming to creating more, then social media isn't bamboozling you, confusing you, taking up your whole life. It's a strategic tool that you can use to get yourself moving forward in whatever, smash whatever goals that you have in there. So
I throw in there as well, I think, like, if we're talking about, like, say, LinkedIn as a platform independently, there are creators and there are followers. I think people naturally sit in, they either go on LinkedIn just to see what other people have done and comment and support and like, and then there are other people that are leading the conversations and so on. And I think it's not wrong to sit in one of those, depending on what your aims are. I'd say I naturally sit on the creator side. I spend very little time actually commenting on other people's posts and reaching out. And then I feel bad, because I think when I'm making connections, I need to be supporting people's content and adding value where I can. But primarily, I'm thinking, if I've only got half an hour today to do something, is it more beneficial for me to be sharing something or choosing to use that time to connect? So that's what we're going to kind of delve a little bit more into, isn't it?
Yeah. And maybe it's a mix of both.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's being, again, intentional, setting an alarm or something, so you're not spending too much on one than the other. It's very intentional with your blocks of time. So the kind of under an hour formula that I kind of share with our audience is I block it down into 20-minute slots. So the first 20 minutes will be connecting.
Yeah.
So 20 minutes, getting on my platforms, trying to find people who are like my ideal audience, or people that I want to connect with.
And how do you do that? How do you...
Depends what platform you're on, but let's use LinkedIn as an example, because I do think LinkedIn as a platform and a tool at the moment is probably one of the most underlooked, but one of the best ones to get on if you are starting a personal brand at the moment, because it can do so much and open doors to so much opportunity. It is like networking in person but online. So if we're looking at LinkedIn, literally there's the connections button at the top. So you can open that out and you can either search for people. So for yourself, you have a photography business within Lincoln. So most people would come to your studio. I'd imagine you'd want most people from the Lincoln area as one of your kind of ideal audience ticks, if you like.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can do further afield and that's fine. But if you wanted to focus on Lincoln, you could search Lincoln and then that will bring up people in Lincoln. Or you could search, I don't know, what are the reasons that people come to you for a headshot for?
I guess depending on what their position is, so whether like they run their own business or whether they're in other businesses, it would tend to be like kind of like the marketing leads that would be booking me to come in and do their team headshots. So maybe
you
trying
want
to find certain roles.
Yeah, so certain roles, if you've got the marketing connections that are then going to book you down the line, get connecting with them and, warming them up, if you like, plug them into your online world so that they can start seeing
Yeah.
what you are all about. It's know, like, and trust, isn't it? That's what we're building through our personal brands. So that first connection piece is know.
Yeah.
Like, are they going to know us? Can they see us? Can you plug them into your world? So yes, we've talked about clarity before in previous episodes. Again, once you're clear on your ideal audience, you can start to kind of hunt for them in those Oh, it's such a bad word, isn't it? Hunt
Seek
for
them
them
out,
online.
yeah.
Seek them out. Yeah.
Lure them in.
Lure them in. Hunt. Yeah, but
Personal branding breadcrumbs. Just-
sprinkle it. Yeah. Different platforms are different. Again, if I was going to go onto Instagram, for example, and hunt for my prey on Instagram, such a bad one. Find my people on
Encourage,
Instagram.
connect, yeah.
Connect. I've got to get that word out. But if I was going to look for those on Instagram, hashtags, you could use hashtags, so location, Lincolnshire, again, like marketing, that kind of thing. Or again, is it like, are you selling, when I think of my other business, selling protein powders or whatever, you're selling a physical product, people that go to the gym take protein powders. So I want gym people. So am I searching for gyms in Lincolnshire and then searching through their followers and connecting that way and stuff?
Right, okay.
I think it's harder to connect with new people on Instagram and other platforms. Again, LinkedIn makes it very easy for you to connect with other people. Once you've started connecting with a certain type of person or a certain industry or a certain area on LinkedIn, it'll start blocking them off into people that you've searched for before. So it'll bring that up, and you've searched for Lincoln people before, it'll bring up other people you may know in Lincoln.
Right, okay.
Other people you may know in marketing. So eventually it understands the people that you're looking for, and you
That's
no longer need to
interesting, yeah.
search that, then it will just pop up on your connections page. But with Instagram, again, you're going to have to literally search for them. And a lot of people's profiles on Instagram are private. And it makes it very hard for you to go in, like a story, comment on a story, follow them. They've got their privacy settings set quite high on there. So it is a difficult one, I think, on Instagram. That's why I like LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Which makes it so much easier to connect with the people that you want to connect with. And also with not even the connection part of it, with people on LinkedIn, only 1% are showing up
Yep.
on LinkedIn and creating. So relatively, like, the spread of noise on that platform, yeah, you might think, oh gosh, there's loads of it, but percentage wise, there's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Way more on Instagram or another platform are showing up, and trying to cut through that.
Yeah, everyone's sharing in their own way,
Yeah,
aren't they?
is difficult, but cutting through on LinkedIn is a bit easier. So cutting through the noise, and then also then connecting with people, so much easier. With the connections part of it as well, there's something I was going to say. Oh yeah, got it. With the connections part of it as well. So sometimes when we think of LinkedIn, it can ask you, do you want to send a note with this connection request? And when people get stuck at that point as well, they're like, should I send a note? Should I not?
Yeah.
Some people still send a note, like, buy my stuff, or like, it's, stop it. If there is anything on their profile that you have seen that you can connect with, that you can say, oh, I saw your post on this.
Yeah.
Thought that was a great idea. Love to follow you to learn more about whatever their world is. If you can send something genuine like that, that will open it up, do it, send it. Sometimes you're connecting with people that look like your ideal audience, but they've only got a partial profile.
Right.
You don't actually know if they would be or not, and they don't know because they don't know you either. Maybe just send them a connection request without a note, because they've given you nothing. They're not creating. They've given you nothing almost to go on apart from name and maybe their job title or location. And that fits with who you want to speak to, but you don't actually know yet. So, I wouldn't worry too much about the note side of it. But if you can, it's just that added touch that will help someone say yes or no to you. And do you know what? If they don't want to connect with you back, it's okay. We're finding the ones that would want us.
Yeah.
We're finding our tribe. So don't worry too much about that. And I think sometimes on LinkedIn as well, people aren't as active on the platform. So you might send a few connection requests. They might not accept straight away. So realize that it's not maybe going to be an instant thing all the time. Maybe a week, 2 weeks down the line that they then go on their LinkedIn and check. So don't be too caught up in that.
So we're connecting, making some outreach, purposeful outreach as well, to try and build out and grow our audience. That's our kind of like first target if we get some time to use, build our personal brand.
Yeah.
What are we going to do with the rest of the time if we have it?
Once we've connected, we then want to converse with our audience. So 20 minutes, or again, if you've got less time, but 20 minutes, just engaging with the people that you're already there in your online world. So that could be, again, going through on select profiles that you've identified are people that you really want to speak to.
Yep.
You go on their profile, you have a little look at what they've last posted, last few posts. Can I put a thoughtful comment on that? Can I start the communication ball rolling? Or again, like, do I want to warrant a personal message and send them something directly based off of what they've suggested and they've created and they've put out to the world? Like, we want to start conversations with people, because it's okay that we've connected with them, but they're not necessarily going to see us unless we are, again, giving to their platforms a bit and engaging with their content. Again, it's going to be easy if they are sharing content, harder if they're not. So you will find a flow with who you can sort of talk to and who you maybe can't.
Well, I suppose the other benefit of the conversing is if you're commenting on posts, you're not only supporting what they've shared and, you know, getting yourself on their radar, you're also being seen by other people, you know, all the connections.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
The more you spread yourself around in various groups and circles, the better that's going to be for people being directed to you, and then maybe inbound connection requests coming your way.
Absolutely. And with platforms like LinkedIn, again, you can get quite a lot of impressions based off of your comment. So yes, you get eyes on with impressions of your content, but you also get eyes on with your comments as well. So you're no longer just having to create nowadays. It's the conversations that are happening as well, which is why it's so important for you when you're creating to ask questions of your audience and put those calls to action, which make people comment on yours. Because again, you can spark those conversations and then you'll get opened up to their audiences as well. So powerful.
Yeah, that's great.
Because if you're after a specific person or type of person, they're probably going to know another 5 or 10 of those kind of people. So you're maximizing the spread of your ideal audience, really, aren't you? Through talking to them and opening up those lines of communication. This is probably, though, the conversing, the point where you want to set an alarm, because it's probably the easiest time to get sucked into the scroll hole. And actually you come off an hour, 5 hours later, you've achieved nothing. You've talked to none of your ideal audience and you've just liked dog photos or some rescue animals have been on there and you got sucked into that. So that's the time that could potentially be taken away from you. Yeah. What I'd probably say with this is those two are the most important things to do each day if you can do them. And if you can do 10 minutes on each of those, do 10 minutes. So that's 20 minutes of your day taken up. Better than nothing. Yeah. You're warming it up. You're getting out there. You're getting visible. If you can do 15 minutes of each of those, great. If you can do half an hour of each and under an hour, whatever time frame that you've got to give to this. And then that's you, like, you've visibility maximized on the platform. You're giving, and then you will receive from that as well. Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, Headshot Toby's studio is based here in Spark House in Lincoln. They offer flexible office spaces, business mentoring, and even have virtual offices if you're not quite ready for a full-time desk. As a sole trader and a photographer with lots of equipment, it was really important that I found somewhere that had space for me that was affordable, so that I had plenty of room to grow my business in a way that was scalable. And Spark House may just be the perfect solution too for you. Get in touch today by emailing sparkhouse@lincoln.ac.uk, and you'll also find our email address in the show notes below.
Yeah, I think what's really nice is you've broken it down in a way there that means whatever time you have, there's always something that you can be doing, because I find from a productivity point of view, it's quite difficult. I might like say go to put something onto LinkedIn, then get distracted by going, oh, what's this so-and-so's posted? Oh, I better comment on that. Oh, who's that person that's commented? Click on them. I'm going to send them a connection. You know, and then you end up down this wormhole, and then you can easily go, oh, that was such a waste of time. And it's not. You're doing the things that we're this episode is about.
Yeah.
You know, you're connecting, you're conversing, but it's distracting from the task that you originally set out to do. If you're as easily distracted as I am, just opening LinkedIn is enough. So in kind of just factoring in this time, you're almost buttoning it, going, that is when I'm doing these parts, and you can, you know, save yourself for that part of your day whenever you block that out your diary, but also know that when you're there, you're ultra productive in doing it. I know someone who blocks out the first hour of every day and the last hour of every day for business development stuff. That's when they get their emails done.
Yeah.
So that throughout the day, because I'm sure everyone will be able to relate to this, you set off going, right, I'm going to start the day in my inbox, bam, done it, I've replied to everyone. And then just as you go to move on to something else, ping, 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 everyone's replied, and you think, oh, I better do this. And then you're just stuck in back and forth conversations, you know. So, yeah, just trying to kind of time block it out, I think really helps, doesn't it? Make sure it gets done as well.
Make sure it gets done, yeah. And everybody gives social media a bad rep and hates it because of the time wasting element of it. But like you say, no one gives their emails a bad rep. No one's like, oh no, I don't want to do emails because emails suck my time out of me. You have to do email. You have to do out. There has to be that communication for you to achieve what you need to achieve. So it has to happen, whether that's emails, direct messages, comments, networking and speaking to actual humans, picking up the phone, whatever. Like, you wouldn't ignore the phone and the emails. So why are you ignoring the social media side of it? So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just we need to try and focus more. And this will take some practice, not to get sucked into the scroll hole. And that's why I always say an alarm is such a simple thing. It just jolts you and you're like, okay, got distracted there a bit. That's fine. Tomorrow I'll do a bit better. Focus time again, 15 minutes, boom. If you don't set an alarm, you could be on there for hours at a time because that's what the platform's designed to do. It is designed to hook you in for that long. So we said personal branding in an hour or under an hour. So there is a last section to this, but I think you can either block time out and do this in advance, or you can do it sort of almost daily and add it into this power hour of personal branding, if you like, and that is to create. So again, you're putting we did storytelling the other week, you're putting your story, your narrative, your content out to the world so that, again, you can get your point across, your value across, people can start to like and trust you through that then. So you can either, again, sit down 20 minutes. So we've got 20 minutes to connect, 20 minutes to converse, and then 20 minutes to create. But again, you might want to sit down once a month for one afternoon and create all of that then for the next month. I don't know what your schedule looks like. I do it once a week. So I'll sit down on a Monday at some point when I'm feeling creative. Sometimes I flip it round so that I'm in that zone. Create for the next week. And then that's all scheduled and out. So then my daily things is just my half an hour really, or my 40 minutes of connecting and conversing. So that's great. Once that's done, it's done. But if you're going to go daily, then think about the creation side of it. Like, what can you create that will then go out tomorrow? And again, help talk to your audience. But again, you include those calls to action to it so that, and not the buy my thing calls to action, the conversational calls to action. So you're then, when you open it the next day to converse with people, you've already got some things to start conversing with because they commented on your post as well. So again, you're sparking those conversations, you're starting those things. You're also warming your audience up to talk to you. They can talk to you about nothing sales related and buying your thing. When it comes to you then putting out something to buy your thing, they're more likely to speak to you about that. Because they've already been speaking to you about lots of different things. It's not scary anymore. You're not going to trap them into a sale.
That's it. So this week's actionable step, we want you to factor in your power hour into your diary. So it's a really simple one compared to other action steps we've had because it's a simple yet easily overlooked thing to do. If you block this in your diary, there is much more chance that you are actually going to get it done. And it's something that most people will be happy to just leave at the bottom of the list. I can do that tomorrow, and then it becomes tomorrow, and then it becomes tomorrow. So have a look through your diary this week. What time of each day would work for you to go, you know what, I'm going to block out an hour or half hour to get some connecting, conversing, and creating done.
Follow along the Brand New podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and we're also on YouTube, so you catch all of the next upcoming episodes. We also now have an Instagram channel as well, Brand New Podcast, so go give that a follow. And also, if you have any questions, any burning personal branding questions to ask us, please pop us a DM and message us through there, and we will answer them in upcoming episodes. And a big thank you, as always, to our sponsors of the podcast, Spark House.
Here's to branding you.